Hey guys, this is Jamie. So, funnily enough, today I sat down and when I was thinking what to film, I was wondering, well, maybe I won't talk about trans stuff. Maybe I should talk about something different. And then I went on BreadTube and I figured that I should talk about trans stuff, funnily enough. And throughout the whole week, I've kind of been really insecure in an uncomfortable place because obviously if you're keeping up with the times you can see there's a lot of transphobia around and people are far more vicious, far more vocal. The stats aren't as good when it comes to anything trans at this point. So, and specifically because in my situation I feel quite comfortable, and my only problem is pretty much legal system when it comes to name changes and stuff like that, or like family and etc. So when it comes to my daily life, I feel very safe, I feel very comfortable, and I don't really face a lot of issues. So specifically when I see representation in the media, when I see people voicing their opinions, it's tough. It's heavy, it's tough, it's disgusting. So, I guess I'll preface this with the fact that, for instance, something as simple is like the Brazilian elections taking place. Like, I was talking to my partner, and we both have very, well, I wouldn't say different stance, but more like I am obviously a bit more invested in LGBT rights. I've been an activist for quite a while, and I speak for the community. I speak to help the community. I try to do everything in my power to help the community. And obviously, being a trans gay guy, I end up being attacked, or I end up being the focus of certain trans things. And regardless whether I want to be visibly trans, whether I don't want to be visibly trans, these things still affect, obviously, me because I'm trans. So when it comes to such things like the elections, I know with Brazil it's very difficult because a lot of people just don't know that much, and I can't really blame people because, well, you don't go reading on every election, right? You don't. So even if you were to read very specifically on Brazil's case, there are many things you don't know. Like, I don't know everything, and even though I was talking to my partner and said who I cast my vote for. Um, so it really goes into the fact that there are certain things that aren't as black and white. There are certain things that people just don't know. And at the end of the day, it's really really intimidating, uncomfortable, and everything that right now we live in an era where we have to choose economy or trans rights, or do I want to get shot by criminals, or do I want to get shot for being trans? So in Brazil's case, we obviously have PT and Lula, but the crime rates speak for themselves. Then you have Bolsonaro, which everything is tits up. So, and obviously Lula's corruption cases and etc. The fact that he has very, very light prison sentences on people, and Brazil has a massive crime problem. And at the same time, I don't even think I need to elaborate on why Bolsonaro is a really bad person at this point. So it's very difficult. But for the sake of explaining, it's very just, he's just a walking stereotype of a racist uncle you really don't want to talk to. That's pretty much him. And he's becoming like a cult status, and he's not even properly advocating to get new votes. He's just pretty much riling up his current supporters. But it still leaves the fact that when the elections are gonna happen and people who do care about trans rights or who do care about the future of Brazil, it's literally gonna be like, which population do I want to die? Which population should suffer? It's stuff like that. And if we go further, for instance, today I was looking at a quote in Russia Today, and this is something I don't talk about very often. And obviously there were the Russian laws, but the fact that I am a Russian speaker and I do want Russian speakers to have rights in certain parts of the world, it starts becoming very difficult because I don't want neo-Nazism in Ukraine, I don't want neo-Nazism in the Baltics, I don't want neo-Nazism anywhere. And coming from a minority group which speaks Russian is very difficult because I have had police, I have had aggressions, I've pretty much had everything for speaking Russian. So basically, the question with Russia is very difficult because there's gay rights, and at the same time, there's what you see politically, and there's what do you hear from people. Because I did hook up with a few guys who were from Moscow, St. Petersburg, or I've talked to a few guys as well. And whenever I talk to them about what is going on there, besides, and I compare what's going on where I'm from, or when I compare what's if the police protects you and stuff, and it's night and day. So despite these politicians blabbering shit, there's a lot being done behind the scenes. You're still like safe in Moscow, St. Petersburg are the cities I can vouch for and say, yes, I've talked to guys like that. And my research concludes that there is some sort of law consistency, or rather there is some facts that people get protected, because where I'm from, like, you can get beaten up and nothing's gonna happen. It's even worse if you go to the police. Or like in Brazil, there's obviously many cases where the police can also beat you up and etc. So it's very difficult. And then obviously there's the US, which all of us look at. And obviously there's been Texas, there's been Florida, there's been a bunch of states, really. And then we go to the bloody UK, where you have J.K. Rowling, and like, even if you go like on our literature, our books, I can't even remember subreddit I was on, and they were praising Harry Potter for its written text, and everyone's just upvoting saying how wonderful the book is, and I was really having a bad day. I was like, fuck. And I just went arguing that it shouldn't even be considered a work of literature anymore because of the profound effects that J.K. has with her transphobia. And this is very difficult to talk about, and I really find it annoying that when I go into such deep topics, I understand that I have to be very well researched, when in reality, it's just a matter of me sitting in front of the camera and saying, I am tired of people thinking that I shouldn't exist, or that I should die, or that I'm less of a being, that I'm less of a man. Like, these are things which I don't even question anymore. Like, I know I'm a guy, I'm going through transition, I'm doing medical steps. Like, no one in their right minds can even, like, look at my ID and be like, miss. Like, it's literally because where I'm from, they're being assholes and not letting me change my name or gender right now. That's my biggest concern. And because I live here in Portugal, where it's pretty much fine, I still have to deal with where I was born for the time being. And when I sit in front of this camera, I don't understand why do I have to be well researched? Why do I have to censor myself? When in reality, all I'm trying to do is when I sit in front of here and speak about trans things, is that I want to educate. I want to help trans people understand that they're not alone, that in their transition they will find peace. Well, obviously transition isn't for everyone, but you know what I mean. That they will find peace, that it's okay. I don't want to sit in front of the camera and just be like, hey, I want to exist. I have every right to exist. Every trans person has the right to exist. And obviously, if you're a criminal, there's certain laws, there's trials, you will be judged, there's social expectations and etc. But when it comes to just a simple law-obeying citizen who just exists, like, I don't even comprehend how fucked up it is for someone to just open the internet and in their leisure time and see something like I remember I had a friend on Facebook which was like, I don't care what JK said, I stand by her because I love Harry Potter. And it's like, what's next? I'm gonna read Hitler I like Mein Kampf? Like, seriously. And speaking of fascism, I actually absolutely missed this, but there was an interview with Judith Butler in The Guardian, and I was really surprised no one talked about it. I saw it on one comment thread, and I was like, that's so bizarre, because usually I really check on them. I really enjoy their contributions. I really enjoy their point of view. I enjoy their books, everything. And they were like, they spoke out and compared TERF to fascism, really. TERFs to fascism, and that was removed by The Guardian. And if you look at the case, it's pretty much a transphobe saying, oh, there was a trans woman, like, I saw her parts. And it's like, you saw a willy. You saw a willy. I'm so sorry. And apparently, there wasn't even one. But obviously TERFs blew it out of proportion. I mean, this is what they fear, that someone's just gonna show genitals to them. And this is specifically very, I'm sorry if I said a genital, I really meant a genital. Because this is where, and like, I don't even like talking that much about my personal life, but it's like, I go to the gym, I work out, I go to, as a guy, I go to the men's locker room, I change, I shower if I desire to, I do everything I need, I leave, I'm safe, and I bother no one. No one has risen any complaints, and no one should ever do any complaints in this aspect. So, and on the opposite, the gym made sure to inform me that they are very, very open-minded, they've had trans individuals before, and that they will provide me an excellent service, and they do. So when I see such trash, which says something like, no, but try to imagine it. It's like, You saw someone's genital. So you saw, I don't know, a woman's vagina at the same time in the same changing room, or it was in a hot tub. It's like, in a hot tub you can't even see jack shit. So it really just infuriated me, grinded my gears. So it's like, why are you okay with seeing X genitals and not Y genitals? And I see what I did there, I'm sorry. And I don't get assaulted. Neither did the lady get assaulted. And it's just this absolute madness of turf issues. I just don't know. It's more like people really don't understand, and it goes into this absolutely absurd idea that if you're assigned gender at birth as a boy, you should be a boy until you die, or a girl, you should be a girl until you die. And it's like, it's not that black and white. There's obviously non-binary identities. There's trans people. And specifically when it comes to like childhood, like in my case, I always felt male. I spoke about that to my family. And everyone would try to just throw the fact at me that I am not a guy. When I would speak out about it, I would go through intense pain of being in my body. And so, in my defense, I survived my childhood. I spoke to people. Everyone ignored me. Now I'm on this age where I'm obviously an adult. And nothing changed. All I had was a traumatic childhood from a gender perspective, traumatic teenage years, traumatic everything until my transition. And on top of that, I had abuse. And because a family member just found everything wrong with me, and my gender was not a thing to bully about. So I knew that I was a guy all along. And just hearing people spit this shit as if like someone's converting me, it's like, who converted me? Like, please show me the adults which made me gay. Show me the adults which made me trans. I had no idea what trans people were. I had no idea what gay men were. All I knew is that I was a guy, and I liked guys, and that went in parallel. I just don't know, why do I have to sit here and pretty much defend my existence? And I don't think any trans person ever should. What's in their pants is in their pants. You shouldn't care. And this is just such a bullshit subject. Like, people exist. Just because you're trans doesn't mean you're not a person, or you should get ridiculed, or you're some sort of agenda. Okay, I feel like at this point I'm going in circles. I was so pissed off at the transphobia thing that I just didn't even do my makeup, and I'm even like holding lipstick. Where is it? Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please click the like button. If you liked it a lot, please click subscribe. So yeah, please click subscribe. So thank you very much for watching.